Happy Christmas week, everyone. Some people probably like, why are you doing these videos on Christmas week, Carolyn? Well, I'm a creature of habit. If I make an agreement with myself to do something weekly, I will do it weekly. So we are in the Christmas week. It is actually Christmas Day. I'm recording this, but I love my check-in. I love my data. Everyone's just hanging around, chilling out. So I'm doing my check-in. So this was actually a really good week, and this is, I'm going to show you some things why it's so important to track your data. I know I say this every week, but it's weeks like this because it's holiday week, Christmas week. There's lots of food, treats, lots of things going on. I am partaking, like I planned my meals ish, just making sure to get enough protein, because if I don't get enough protein, I know from past experiences, I will just grab at all the stuff around if I just don't get enough protein. So I just want to show you sort of how this week is playing out. So I'm still in phase 1 of my base building body metrics. So I had a week where my measurements actually, let's see if I can find them here. I want to show you this because here we go. You can see my screen here. This was Friday last week. Saturday, had my treat meal here. Boom, way up. Obviously flush all that out on Monday, and then I hit a new low on Tuesday. Treat meal, boom, went out for dinner with notoriously high salt, back up, and I've just kind of petered here. Now, so a lot of people would freak out like, oh my God, but this is water weight. Water weight. This is why it's so important to track these. I hit a new low this week of my weight because I'm just on a moderate fat loss journey. So that's why it's so important, because my average weight from this week to last week didn't really change. However, I know from that drop when I was like really hitting my macros that I'm on a great path. Also with my waist, I lost metrics. I lost about a 1/4 inch off of everything. So my waist last week was 28 and a quarter, lost quarter of an inch around my waist. Same thing on my hips. My right thigh is down about 0.13. I lost 2 millimeters on my belly fat calipers. Obviously, on day 11 of my cycle, whatever. So that's why it's so important to be able to correlate the data, and especially treat meal and like holiday meal nights. So my goal is just don't eat like a jerk, track everything, because when I track, I understand what's happening. I had a really good training execution week, really good running week. And here is the variation on my macros. So this was what I was planning on hitting. And then the pattern of what actually happened, which is you can totally see in the data. Protein, I'm hitting my protein. And that's what I prepared for. I prepared in advance when I was calm, all the good things. So I prepared for that. Carbs, high variability, like super high variability. That's a lot of the treats hanging around. Fats, meals out. So I think yesterday was my highest fat day. Okay, whatever, one day. Wide caloric range. But important distinction. This was not random eating. This was planned social meals, known treat events, full tracking compliance. So I tracked everything as best I could. I planned as much as I could, tracked as best I could, because I want to see the swings and I also want to be able to correlate things so I don't panic. So coach interpretation, me as a coach, I would 100% agree with this. More water retention, no loss of dietary control. This is so important. So important. Like none of this is me just going off the rails. It's planned, it's tracked, we know what's happening. And the protein anchor, very important here. So nothing here suggests a need for macro tightening during Christmas week. No. All my recovery metrics are really good. Again, a 1-sentence self-assessment, feeling a bit scattered because it's Christmas week, but tracking everything, going with the flow. Exactly right, no framing notes. So that's all. So we need to look at here. So, I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it again. That's why tracking your data is so important. so incredibly important. Still in the very non-sexy phase of doing all this work. Here is my running and training data. Here is a summary of the macros that I ate this week. Still had a great fat loss week. Maybe not on the scale, but in measurements. In measurements, such important data. There's a summary of everything here. Everything will be going up on Instagram for the visual later as well. That will probably happen Friday. Now what's coming up in the week ahead? Again, very unsexy, check the box kind of training. A lot of zone 2 runs, and then 1 tempo session. Long run goes up to 10 miles. And just going back to my planned eating. So December 26th, which is tomorrow, because it's Christmas Day today, having a planned treat meal, and then Saturday, just right back on track. And we'll get to this, and then we'll see where that leads us for next week. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and Happy New Year.